NEC 680.25. Covers the wiring requirements for swimming pools. This includes the wiring to any subpanels that serve the pool equipment. According to the code, all wiring for a pool, encompassing the wiring that feeds the subpanel, needs to be installed within specific types of raceways. These raceways are rigid metal conduit, often abbreviated as RMC, intermediate metal conduit, known as IMC, electrical metallic tubing, frequently called EMT, and Schedule 80 polyvinyl chloride conduit, which is Schedule 80 polyvinyl chloride. However, there's an exception to this rule. Exception 1 to 680.25 permits the use of non-metallic sheathed cable, commonly known as Romex or NMB cable, for wiring a subpanel. This exception applies specifically when the subpanel is installed before the construction of the pool itself. The rationale behind this exception is that when a subpanel is installed before the pool, it's generally assumed that the location of the subpanel will be in an area not exposed to the elements such as weather or other potential hazard. This provides a degree of protection to the Romex cable. Conversely, if the subpanel is installed after the pool has already been built, then the requirements change. In this scenario, the wiring to the subpanel must be installed using one of the acceptable raceways mentioned earlier, and the use of Romex is not permitted. The reasoning behind this stricter requirement is that a subpanel installed after the pool's construction may be located in an area where it's more susceptible to exposure from the weather and other environmental hazards. This exposure could potentially damage the Romex cable and create a safety hazard. Therefore, the use of the more robust raceway systems becomes mandatory to ensure the safety and longevity of the electrical installation. To summarize, the timing of the subpanel installation relative to the pool's construction plays a critical role in determining the permissible wiring method. If the subpanel is installed before the pool, Romex can be used under the exception. If the subpanel is installed after the pool, raceways are required to protect the wiring from potential hazards. This distinction is essential for compliance with the NEC and ensuring the safety of the pool's electrical system. It's also important to note that local codes and regulations may have additional requirements or restrictions regarding pool wiring, so it's always advisable to consult with a qualified electrician or local building inspector before starting any electrical work related to a swimming pool. This will help ensure that the installation meets all applicable codes and standards and is safe for use. The NEC is a comprehensive set of standards, and it's crucial to understand its requirements thoroughly to ensure that electrical installations are safe and compliant. Always consult the latest edition of the NEC and any local amendments or interpretations when performing electrical work. The exception for using Romex before the pool's construction is based on the assumption that the wiring will be protected from environmental factors. However, even in such cases, it's essential to ensure that the Romex cable is properly installed and protected from physical damage. This includes using appropriate cable clamps and supports and avoiding running the cable in areas where it could be subject to excessive heat or moisture. When raceways are required, it's crucial to select the appropriate type of raceway for the specific application and environment. Rigid metal conduit offers the highest level of protection against physical damage and corrosion, while EMT is a lighter weight option that is suitable for many indoor applications. Schedule 80 polyvinyl chloride conduit is a non-metallic option that is resistant to corrosion and is often used in underground applications. The selection of the raceway should be based on factors such as the exposure to moisture, chemicals, and physical impact. The proper installation of the raceway is also critical. This includes using appropriate fittings and connectors, ensuring that the raceway is properly supported, and sealing any openings to prevent the entry of moisture or contaminants. Additionally, the conductors installed within the raceway must be sized correctly for the load and must be protected by overcurrent devices such as circuit breakers or fuses. Proper grounding is another essential aspect of pool wiring. All metallic parts of the pool structure, including the pool shell, reinforcing steel, and any metallic equipment must be bonded together and connected to the grounding system. This helps to equalize the electrical potential and reduce the risk of electric shock. Grounding conductors must be sized appropriately and must be connected to a grounding electrode system that meets the requirements of the NEC. The NEC also specifies requirements for ground fault circuit interrupters, or GFCIs. GFCIs are required for receptacles located within a certain distance of the pool and for equipment such as pool pumps and heaters. GFCIs are designed to detect small amounts of current leakage and to quickly interrupt the circuit, preventing electric shock. It's important to test GFCIs regularly to ensure that they are functioning properly. Pool lighting is another area that requires careful attention. The NEC specifies requirements for the location, type, and installation of pool lights. Underwater lights must be listed for use in swimming pools and must be installed in accordance with the manufacturer's instructions. Pool lights must be supplied by a circuit that is protected by a GFCI. The voltage of underwater lights is typically limited to 12 volts or 15 volts to reduce the risk of electric shock. Low voltage lighting systems require the use of a transformer that is listed for use in swimming pools. The transformer must be located in a dry location and must be protected from physical damage. When installing electrical equipment near a swimming pool, it's important to maintain proper clearances. The NEC specifies minimum distances that electrical equipment must be located from the pool's edge. These clearances are intended to prevent accidental contact with electrical equipment while in or near the pool. The clearances vary depending on the type of equipment and the voltage. It's crucial to consult the NEC and local codes to determine the specific clearance requirements for each situation. Working with electricity can be dangerous, and it's essential to take precautions to prevent electric shock. Always de-energize circuits before working on them and use appropriate safety equipment such as insulated tools and gloves. If you are not comfortable working with electricity, it's best to hire a qualified electrician to perform the work. An experienced electrician will have the knowledge and skills to ensure that the installation is safe and compliant with all applicable codes and standards. Electrical inspections are an important part of the construction process. A qualified electrical inspector will review the electrical installation to ensure that it meets the requirements of the NEC and local codes. Electrical inspections help to identify potential safety hazards and to ensure that the installation is safe for use. It's important to schedule an electrical inspection before energizing the circuits and putting the pool into operation. The NEC is updated every 3 years, so it's important to stay up to date with the latest requirements. Changes to the NEC can affect the design and installation of electrical systems, and it's essential to be aware of these changes to ensure compliance. Continuing education courses and industry publications can help electricians stay informed about the latest NEC requirements. In addition to the NEC, local codes and regulations may also apply to pool wiring. These local codes may have additional requirements or restrictions that are not covered in the NEC. It's important to consult with local building officials to determine the specific requirements for your area. The information provided here is for general guidance only and should not be considered a substitute for professional advice. Always consult with a qualified electrician or local building inspector before starting any electrical work related to a swimming pool. Ensuring that pool wiring is done correctly is paramount for the safety of everyone using the pool. The potential hazards associated with electricity and water necessitate strict adherence to codes and best practices. The use of appropriate wiring methods, proper grounding and bonding, GFCIs, and adherence to clearance requirements are all critical components of a safe pool electrical system. Remember to prioritize safety and to seek professional assistance when needed. By following these guidelines, you can help ensure that your pool is a safe and enjoyable place for everyone.